Southern.
So top ranked card on ESPN tomorrow night, or I'm sorry, I'm gonna say today because well they watching it tomorrow. So today's the 13th, but they're gonna end up watching this video on Friday. We got Keyshawn and Berinchyk, the main event, and then a slew of fighters on the undercard. And when I say a slew of fighters, man, I mean a slew of fighters. Starting off the ESPN Plus portion of the card. I'm gonna have to read it right here real quick. We got actually young Keon Davis.
Mm-hmm. His
Keon
second
is
fight.
getting him. Say again. Go ahead.
His second fight. Second
Yeah,
pro
yeah,
fight.
absolutely. We got Keon, so we'll see what's going on in that, and then we got the return of Nico Ali Walsh as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what he's learned in his time off from his
He
draw
been out
last
a
time.
minute.
Sam.
He been out a minute.
Yeah, and that's good. He's young enough.
Mm-hmm.
He should, especially when you're trying to learn. Go learn as much as you can in this phase for him because he's being pushed how he's being pushed. Take
Mm-hmm.
time off, go learn. The one thing I'm also happy about, which we don't see a lot of no more real development, is Tiger Johnson. He's also on that ESPN Plus portion. Tiger is one of the ones who all the USA guys and everybody feels he's one of the best, period. But we haven't seen him step up in competition or asked to be truthfully like pushed hard. And I think that's a good thing because he's a sleeper. The older he gets, the more skills he gets, the more refined he gets. He looks good in all his fights. The only thing with Tiger is some people might say the punching power or whatever, I guess. But to me, I think he's doing just fine. Um, After that, we got Jared Anderson, the return of Jared Anderson, big baby Jared Anderson. What you got?
Uh, I mean, we'll see. I'll just be interested to see how he starts the fight.
Yep.
I'll just be interested to see if he's timid in any way to let
Mhm.
his hands go, or if he's comfortable with the level of opponent that he's facing and he's not worried about anything per se. So
Right.
I'm just interested to see how he starts off, basically.
Yeah, I am. Because such a loss that he took uh, can change a fighter's just how he goes about the fight.
Hmm.
And we don't necessarily want to see him shell shocked in a sense, so we'll get it. We got 10 seconds left, but yeah, so I guess
That and I want to see how he finishes, because if he gets up, he has a tendency to let his foot off the gas. That's happened when he faced Martin, and he let Martin catch him.
let Martin catch him.
So
Yep.
let's see how he goes through the whole fight.
This episode of Pay the Toll Boxing is brought to you by Lend with Tiff, loan officer with Verity Mortgage. Whether you're ready to refinance, renovate, or buy a new home, Lend with Tiff will help guide you through the process. Lend with Tiff offers smart, affordable loan options to help you achieve your goals. With Lend with Tiff as your loan officer, she will be your main contact throughout the mortgage procedure and is someone you need to be comfortable with and confident in. Contact Lend with Tiff and get started today.
All right. Next four portions of the top rank card, we got the return of Abdullah Mason, who we saw last out on a
In,
Keyshawn fight, actually on a Keyshawn undercard.
in a
He
battle,
in a battle. And we
for
saw
how
him in
long
a
it
tough.
lasted.
Yeah, it was a good battle for as long as it lasted. Who could probably be in the round of contention, round of the year contention for sure.
Mm.
Uh, I think it was a good description of where he is actually at this point in time of his career. I think that's a good. Hey, you went through a little tough one. It's okay to pull it back. You ain't got to listen to your hype all the time.
Hmm.
Um,
I think it'll be a good fight. It's not necessarily a step up in competition after the fight he had. I wouldn't
Correct.
expect a giant leap of step up in competition, but
No,
just see how he handled himself. I mean, he handled himself very well in that last.
absolutely, like a true professional. Absolutely.
So I don't think he'll have any issues necessarily with this fight.
Nah, I don't foresee that. Even before that, I got Rohan Palenko and Juan Carlos Torres. So we'll see what else we can learn from those two guys before that fight. After Abdullah, we have, I don't know if you had a chance to look into him, Juanito. Let me make sure I got this correct because I'm finna read these names wrong as it finna be. Juan Mita Lopez and Juan Mita Lopez de Jesus versus Brian Santiago in a 4-round junior bantamweight fight. It's pretty interesting. I'm pretty
Yeah,
interested in that.
yeah. Now I
Bantamweights.
have to catch that
You know, I like bantamweights. We like bantamweights. You know,
one.
we like the little guys fighting.
A whole bunch of punching going on.
A whole bunch of it. I'm absolutely all right with that. And then after that, we get into the meat of things. Um, we got, well, I don't know. We might could say that. This is round two. Actually, no. We got Vito Melanecki Jr. We got young Vito back at home. Well, he ain't at home, but Vito's back on the card. Since he signed over the Top Rank, since he left, I think he was the PBC first, and then now he's moved over to Top Rank as the kind of take over the kind of New Jersey market from where, because he is a big name on in Jersey and East Coast, where he's from, just like Shakur. So we'll see what more development Top Ranking them have for him. What are you expecting from him?
Uh, I think he's gonna handle this fight pretty well. I think his opponent is gonna be his opponent's second fight in the last 2 years or a year and a half, I
Year and
think.
a half or something like that, yeah.
And Vito, he had four, I think, in the last year, 3 or 4 in
Right.
the last. So I think it's just on same old thing with him. As far as this opponent wise, I don't expect much.
Well, we'll see.
Man, I appreciate Clutch City in this bitch, man. I need everybody to get a motherfucking drip, man. Get your drip.
Grab one of them cards, bro. The top, yeah, you get $5 off if you follow. Just tap in, you know what I'm saying? You follow us on Instagram, you get $5 off, bro. Any purchase.
All right, now we got the return of young Xander Zayas
Mm.
against Slava Spomer. However we say that, if we are screwing up your name, we are young brother, we apologize
We ain't
thoroughly.
good with names, but we
We
know
we hey,
who you
we as country as we gonna get, and your name is your name, and it's the one thing you came in this world with, and we don't want to mess it up.
are.
With
Yeah,
that being said,
my German brother. Don't
with that
take
with that being said, all right, we got the return of Xander, who is looking in his last night out. He looked primed for the essentially for what was in front of him. He did look primed for the 154 division.
hmm
Do you think you've had time to look at young Spomer? uh, what do you expect to see from Xander versus this kind of opponent?
I think Xander's gonna get to showcase his skills. His
Okay.
opponent is a come forward fighter, which I I believe that their record, everything is damn near identical. They're both
Mm-hmm.
20-0. I think Xander has 12 knockouts. His opponent has 11. But
Okay.
the difference is, I think they're 8 or 10 years apart in age. So the German, he's 32. Xander's 22 or 24.
Hey, is he gonna turn now? If that's the case, now we looking at it. Does this turn into a Pacheco Steven Nelson thing? like we talked about before, because these type of things can happen. Just because a guy is older than the guy he's fighting, it does not mean that that man is lacking in any kind of fashion at that
Hmm.
point.
And the
Uh,
carries himself, he really like his power. His opponent really likes his power.
mm.
So why I don't see it going the full distance, not with the styles that they fight with.
Xander, he's a good Puerto Rican. I think I've always highlighted how Xander does come forward on that front foot. You know, he does try to. I think it's a conscious thing for him where he always has it in his mind of I gotta entertain the crowd. I gotta
Mhm.
keep the crowd going. Oh, I gotta get it going. I'm gonna turn this fight on. You know, that's one thing I will give Xander a lot of credit for, especially being that young. Of course, you don't want to see a young guys like go into it like that, but it is what it is.
And one thing we go everybody gonna start to see is Keyshawn fans, they like violence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
They
they'll be
like they like violence. I give you that. Got 10 seconds. Yeah, they like violence. So we're gonna see. This is gonna be a good night in New York. We'll see if it turns into Valentine's Day massacre. That's now main event. Keisha, everybody made weight. We got fights. Keyshawn Davis versus Dennis Berinchyk, who is also the bare knuckle fighter as well. Let's not forget that. So we know Berinchyk ain't no punk by any means.
hmm
That's somebody you got to put out. Um, how you want to go about this?
Well, first off, if anybody been paying attention, they've seen the ruckus before the fight. Somebody left a banana and watermelon, I
Which
believe.
we found out who that was.
Hmm.
That punk, he not gonna get the attention right now, but
Yeah,
nonetheless,
I'm not surprised at all. But
not at all.
Keyshawn was trying to take that out on Berinchyk. So,
But prior, and he wasn't wrong prior to it. We didn't know.
mhm.
We did not know.
But for our styles, I think it'll the first few rounds will be interesting. Berinchyk is a teammate. He's from the Ukraine, so he's a teammate of Lomo and all
He's
those guys. So his style, he's like a. I don't want to disrespect him and put a low grade, but he reminds me like a C plus Lomo in the way he starts.
I can
It,
give you that, especially if you're looking back at it from the Navarrete fight. I don't
mhm,
know if he fought the way he did in the Navarrete fight because of what was technically in front of him,
I think so.
or in which I would understand completely because fighting Navarrete is not fighting a. It's not fighting a typical boxer. It's not even fighting a typical fighter.
Right.
Actually, it is fighting a fighter, but it's like fighting a drunk fighter who knows what he's doing.
With a
Fighting
with
Navarrete.
a long arm.
Yeah.
One,
So I get that fully. What
but
I'm look so it's kind of like is he gonna he hops on his feet a lot. Berinchyk is
he
very good
in and out.
hopping back and forth out of space. Keyshawn does a good job of stepping to
Mm,
people. So he's gonna have to do some chasing here, which I expect
yeah,
Berinchyk to jump in, make him throw punches he might miss, and then jump back out because he is in shape to do that. We
right.
know, the same type of tactics Lomachenko used to do with the people. Jump in, jump out, make you burn energy, jump in, jump out, make you burn energy, make you jump in, jump out. And then by the time you realize that you didn't fell under that spell and you're tired, and then
Mm.
boom, we can get
And,
action.
and that's why I said he reminds me of Lomo. Light, especially a younger version. He's light on his feet. He
Only for that person, not for the fighting skills. Before anybody else get into, he don't look like no Lomachenko. Let's isolate that one part right there. What we are
right,
talking about, we
right.
are isolating.
Watch the feet and tell me he don't.
That's it. That's all we got for you. That's all we got.
Yeah,
That's it.
he in and out, side to side, and he'll also switch to southpaw. He'll
Correct.
go southpaw to orthodox. So
Man, we talking about that one quick. That's 3 minutes. Nevertheless, I'm gonna keep it rolling. Let's keep Sean. It'll be all right.
no, yeah. So that's why I say the first few rounds will be interesting, just to see how Keyshawn handles it. But once Keyshawn get his timing, I think it's gonna be on that time.
I think so too. I think this does actually go 12. I really do. I really do think this goes 12. I think Keyshawn does edge it out, maybe 8-4, especially Keyshawn's pace is the best thing I think he does have. He can turn it up and turn it down at different moments, but the one thing we've seen Keyshawn always do is maintain a pace. Even in the fights that he did go to distance in, it's more so he maintained the punching pace. Whether the opponent went out is another story. But it seems like he's finally developed his points where it's like I'm precision punching and I'm controlling it at my pace and my confidence at this point. So I see Berinchyk doing his things early for sure. I do see him taking. I see Berinchyk taking the first three rounds. I really do. That's just how I can see it for right now. Now I do see Keyshawn finally kind of like picking up on some things later down the line, where the body punches of where Navarrete did not take. I see Keyshawn getting those off.
Mm-hmm.
He is better fundamentally than Navarrete was, and Berinchyk is probably better better fundamentally than Lemos was against Keyshawn.
Yep.
So there are a lot of combating things that both of those guys are they're gonna meet up at on what they do well and what they don't do well, and that's what I'm looking to see. But I
Mm-hmm.
do see Keyshawn finally getting that great Norfolk style out of bringing back Sweet Pea and stuff like that to bring it out. I think this might just be Keyshawn's time.
Yeah. One thing I always like to watch for Keyshawn is in between the rounds. I like to see what is his temperament
Yeah,
because we know he has a temper. And sometimes he doesn't listen to his corner because he wants to do what he
he
wants. That doesn't always work out the best for him during the fight. So,
agreed. He want to do what he want to do sometimes. As any fighter, every fighter want to do what they want to do
hmm
sometimes. So
hmm
it just kind of go where to go with. But we gonna see, my boy.
Yep.
We gonna see. So took Keyshawn 12 in a decision. What you got?
We got the same.
Oh, okay. All right. So we right there. All right. So by the time y'all see this, today is Happy Valentine's Day, and all of that, and then
What the folks do?
that's right, the hearts. Big
Hey,
hearts.
never mind. I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead.
Appreciate y'all tuning in for this episode, and we will do a recap episode to follow up on St. Valentine's Day Massacre or whatever does end up happening. Appreciate it.